we go. Look for spark. Can you see? Yeah, we got spark. I got shocked. Welcome back to Finnegan Begin Again. Today is a banner day. We are going to turn the engine over with the starter for the first time. So, electricity, I hate it, but I've sat around and I thought about it a lot. This is how I have connected. Here we have our battery, yay. Positive terminal because we are doing a negative ground system instead of how they did it back then, which was a positive ground system. We're doing a negative ground system. Okay, so the positive terminal is coming to the starter solenoid, going across and then connecting down to the connector for the starter. Normally, the power button that would jump the solenoid would come into here. However, we have a little button trick that we're going to use to cross that and jump that. So the starter is then grounded through, well, it is connected to the block and the block is grounded back to the negative. Both the negative and the ground strap had been bolted together. So we created our loop. Now, before I do that, I've taken all of the spark plugs out because I don't want to be generating compression right now. I just want to run the engine around. So I'm going to put, since it's been a while since this got oiled and assembled, I'm going to put a little bit of Marble Mystery oil down each of the cylinders just to get a little lubrication on top of the cylinders. And then I'm going to start turning it over if it works. And then I also have an oil pressure gauge set up here to see if we run it a while that we are actually generating oil pressure. So with that, I will get started. One thing to verify also, before you get started turning over this engine, is make sure, since the transmission is attached, make sure that the transmission is in neutral or the car will try to drive away. I've seen that on videos and may have experienced myself. Anyway, let's get started. We'll put some oil down those cylinders and we'll see if this thing turns over. Okay, Mr. Oil, put in each of the cylinders. You will notice also that I do have the coil hooked up. The negative wire is going down to the condenser, but this wire up here is still just here. I don't know how long it needs to be, and we're not worried about powering the coil right now. We just want to get the engine to turn over. We don't need any power to the spark plugs, so that's not hooked up. All right, now Mr. Oil down the side. Let's see how this goes. I also am armed with a wrench because these solenoids are known to stick with the electrical connector still going, so the engine will just keep going. So once again, let's verify. We're in neutral. Neutral. We're hooked up. I'm nervous. Here we go. Let's see. It runs. Well, it turns over. Yay. Now let's see if we get some oil pressure. We're going to keep going. Did come up. It came up to just under 30, which I think is fine because it's a 50-pound unit, 50-pound pressure sensor. So, well, I think we have oil flowing. So yay. All right. Hey, stop doing something. Good. Okay. Yay, turns over. Now, let's see if we are getting compression in our cylinders. So I'll take that pressure gauge and attach it to a spark plug hole. All right, so got our gauge here attached to spark plug number 1, cylinder number 1. Let's see if it generates some pressure. Here we go. Yeah, it generates some pressure. 150. Yeah, that's quite nice. Better than I expected. Okay, now it's a matter of making sure that we have spark and then get some fuel into it and it should run. Oh, I'm excited. I have now powered the coil and I have attached spark plug number 1. We're going to ground it. We're going to see if we have spark. Again, nervous. I don't want to get shocked. Here we go. Look for spark. Can you see? Yeah, we got spark. I got shocked. That was fun. Worst fears realized. See my finger jump? Yeah, that was me feeling the electricity going through it. Oh, do I do it again? Because I didn't see a spark. My eyes went black. Hold on. Now I have it taped down. I'm not touching it. Let's see if it sparks. Okay, we have electricity to turn it over. We have electricity to make a spark. We have compression, we have oil pressure, and now we just need some fuel to go inside and get ignited. So let's get busy setting up the carburetors and getting a fuel line hooked up. And then we can get this thing chumbling. Chumble, tumble, tumble, bum, 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 bum. I noticed during that last montage that I was probably putting these in a very difficult way. Now, it doesn't seem like these are going to be easy either way, but I decided I was going to take the base off of the carburetor and install it separately because these nuts down here are getting quite difficult to turn. There wasn't very good access for even just a wrench, so I just took them off and now I can access them from above with a bit. So let's socket. So I'm going to install these, reinstall the tops of the carburetors, and then I'll just have to, the only real difficult point at that point is the screw that goes up underneath here. So let's get that done. You'll also notice that I painted these black. I decided, I was looking at them, they're bare iron, so they already had a little bit of surface rust on one of these. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna Scotch Brite it, mask it off, paint it black. There it is. My soul feels a lot better. Now let's get busy putting it back on. Now I did put anti-seize on the stud, the carburetor stud that's going into the intake manifold because this is aluminum and the stud is steel and I don't want any galling happening. course, this bolt or this screw right here is being blocked by the top bolt on this. So I'm going to have to lower this down to get that screw in. Okay, but in any case, the carburetors are on. Now I'll take a measurement between these two nipples to know, well, actually it's between these two connectors right here, so I know what size of connector to throttle linkage to purchase so that I can have my dual carburetors going. But other than this screw, which I'll take care of off camera, carburetors installed, ready for fuel lines to be put in, and hopefully these needles and seats that I've replaced, both of these carburetors, both these needles and seats will work properly. Last test now, we need to make sure that we can, now that I've got the fuel lines hooked up, we need to make sure that we are actually pulling fuel with the fuel pump and it's going into the carburetors. Engine might start. Let's see what happens. Oh, let me arm myself with my wrench also to turn the solenoid off if I need to. Okay, here we go. Actually, why don't I set up so you guys can see? Okay, if the fuel pump is working, we should see this bowl fill up with fuel. Let's see. What did I do with my wrench? There we go. Here we go. Or we need to put gas inside of the engine and get the engine turning over a lot faster to drive the fuel pump. Let's try that. Okay, we're gonna pour some gas down inside, see what it does. See if it lights off a little bit.
It's leaking out.
Huh?
It's dripping out.
It's leaking out? Great. Well, that's something good to know. Yeah, here we go. Hey, we got fire. Okay, we got fire out the exhaust.
It's still on fire.
And it's still on fire, up inside the exhaust.
Yep.
Okay.
Still on fire.
Interesting. Okay, here we go again. Yay! Did it bring up any gas? No? Alright, well.
We already eat through the plastic.
Okay, let's see what that does. And there it ran itself dry. But it runs! Yay!